Hello, YouTube. Welcome to my channel, Marriage, Politics, and Sports. Today, I got some disturbing news, and I guess it's just starting to get around the internet, the manosphere, that Mumir Obsidian Ali's channel has been canceled by YouTube. And my question really is, you know, why would he bait YouTube into canceling his channel, or did he? I mean, see, one of the reasons why I'm even asking the question is because he's a very intelligent man. And I listen to his content and I've listened to it intently. And he pushed the envelope in the directions that probably needed to be pushed, but he understood all the terms on YouTube. And a lot of content creators got their channels snatched for a whole lot less than the things that he would say, And so I really don't know the answer, but I could speculate like everything else and like everybody else. Did he do this on purpose for a reason to challenge YouTube and their standards and their policy, which is very skewed and arbitrary, right? I mean, for example, Cynthia G was able to talk about deleting black babies for until a white woman came up and said, "No, you can't do that. You shouldn't be. She should not be allowed to be saying this." So, and so I don't know who got his channel removed, but I would imagine it was a whole bunch of women, a whole bunch of whatever people who don't like what he was saying, bombarding YouTube to do something about his channel. But knowing him, he had to understand that he was under attack behind the scenes because we don't know how many warnings he might have gotten and all that kind of stuff. Does he have a bigger play in mind, or is he just another victim of YouTube's arbitrary standards? I mean, we don't know. We absolutely don't know. So, and we might not never find out. But as for the manosphere, as the father, one of the fathers of the manosphere, this is a big, huge loss. I mean, his battle with YouTube, does that trump the fact that his voice was necessary in the manosphere, such as it is? I mean, a lot of people come after the manosphere enough as it is. But without his voice, even if it was subdued a little bit in terms of, the kind of things he would say, wasn't it still required or necessary to have a voice like his available to the manosphere when needed, especially with the things that he tries to do offline with the manosphere meetup and those kind of things? I'm kind of perplexed why he would fight so hard to do these things, you know. Anyway, so yeah, hey, listen, Sean, if you hear me, man, you want to pop up, man, I'll drop the link if you want to. I know if you know about Obsidian, man, I want to come on up. If you can see the link, I'll drop it here, man, because I mean I'm kind of perplexed on the situation myself and why he would do that. I appreciate you stopping by, even if it's for a second. But you want to stop by a little longer if you have something to say on this, man. You could pop up, man. I'll bring you up. But I'm kind of real. It's I have mixed feelings about this because being canceled is something he probably could have avoided and got his point across. His books and all the stuff, his strategies, the years he put into this, and so I don't agree with censorship. Well, I mean, if you don't know about Obsidian, I'm surprised you don't, man. You usually know about a lot of other stuff, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. I can go over it, but I mean, if you just want to listen in, that's cool. Anyway, because I don't know how long this live is going to be, Sean, if you're there, but I'm just kind of disappointed, man. I got mixed emotions about this whole thing because I think he's done the manosphere, like I said, such as it is, a little disservice by letting his channel get canceled. I think his bigger not debt, but his bigger responsibility to the manosphere was to stay. Yeah, okay, I got you, Sean. I see you. How you doing, man? Let me change the way this thing looks for a second. There you go. How you doing, man?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
All right. Hey, so you don't know about Obsidian?
Nah, not at all.
I'm surprised you don't, man. You know,
I
he's one
mean,
of the fathers of the manosphere.
but
You
that's the
know?
whole thing.
Oh,
I don't
wait a
really
minute. I
follow
got
the
King
man.
here. I got King here too, man. Hey, King,
Cool.
what's going on, man?
What up, King?
Hey,
What
what's
up,
up,
King?
Sean?
All right.
All
What's up,
right.
Arpane?
Yeah, all right, man. This is all impromptu, man. Thanks for stopping
Yeah.
by. You know about the manosphere, right, King?
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I do know who Obsidian is. I've never watched anything that's came out of Obsidian's channel, but a lot of the quote unquote OGs of the manosphere always give a couple of people their props for being one of the first men's advocates to be out there publicly, and almost all of them do name Obsidian whenever they
Right.
do.
Yeah, I mean, I
Wow.
just got a thing from Kevin C saying that he put some stuff in the back somewhere. All I know is his the front facing part of his channel is down and it's kind of spreading across YouTube. You know,
Wow.
and Sean, just for you, if you don't know Obsidian, some of his content, man, was
Well, yeah.
really hard against the feminists and
Mm-hmm.
everybody else who's like anti-black man. You know what I'm saying? And some of it
Yeah.
was hard hitting. And the reason why
Yeah.
I posed the question is why did he let his channel even get in trouble? Because he's an intelligent dude, right? He knew that YouTube
Well,
takes down channels for a lot less. Oh, you
and
right?
the
Am
interesting
I, am
thing
I
about
right?
that
Am I
comment.
right, King? Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, and he's been in the game long enough to know the things to say and not to say, to be able to, have his channel going and not worry about the issues of being suppressed and things like that. I I've been subscribed, but I've never caught. It's kind of funny. I've never caught any of the videos that he's ever published, but I've been a long time subscriber. I think when I subscribed to him or that channel, I also subscribed to Sandman at the same time. And it's kind of funny. I
Okay.
don't see, man, a lot of Sandman stuff anymore either.
Wow. And what I was going to say is, although I'm not that familiar, I don't get too involved in the manosphere and that whole concept. Although I do embrace some of the principles. And but the one thing is that my question is, why are you still on YouTube? Why haven't you gone and created a platform where you can control it a little differently? And that is part of the problem when I push back on a lot of people who have those principles of manosphere and they're stressing women about guidance and structure and things of that nature. But yet, meanwhile, we're really relying heavily on another man's platform that we have no control of.
You
Well,
know,
I mean, from a
go ahead,
business
King.
standpoint, and I mean, I've been a content creator for a while, really just starting to kind of take it serious. I get it. The reach that you have with Google, right, is insane. Now, I was having this conversation literally just yesterday in how it always gets interesting when men decide to use their voice. Sometimes the message it it gets drowned in the tone of how men sometimes say things. Yet I always challenge people that want to say, well, if he would have said it a little bit better, I'm like, well, is this person wrong? And when men start to gain popularity, highlighting certain things that are just off with what's going on, people sit there and wait for them to slip up and say one thing so that they can hit that cancel button real quick. Um, it
Very
would be
true.
nice
Yeah,
to have
I
the
agree.
same kind of reach and also have that platform that you wouldn't have to worry about being flagged or being canceled because you said the word feminist or something, and now the AI robots are gonna, flag you and suppress you and take you down. I don't know. This Peabody brain don't know how we get there.
Well, yeah.
Well,
So, Sean, I mean, you listen,
mhm.
yeah, right out the way you say that, it's not wrong. If we as black men could start our own channel where we are in control, that would be revolutionary. Not just
Uh,
evolutionary. It would be like we were our own. What's that guy who dressed like a woman all the time?
Tyler Perry.
Medea,
Yeah,
Tyler Perry.
yeah. Look where he
But the
has
whole
to
thing
be to be.
is,
So that's the point. That's what we're talking about. Look where he has
right.
to be to even put his own content out there.
Well,
right?
what's
So
interesting about his story is that he did actually do it in that manner to where he empowered himself because nobody would believe in him. So
yeah,
he
but look what he
basically
had to look.
reinvested
Yeah,
in
but
himself.
Sean, look what
Mm.
he the magnitude of what he had to do to even be able to do that. You know,
Well, that's
so
my
so even though you're right, YouTube provides a conduit for us to get our voice across without trying to building the infrastructure. That's required.
well,
You know, that's what I'm
well.
saying.
Here's a scenario, right? And everybody wants the easy way out. Dame Dash right now has a network that's available, and nobody's really engaging, embracing his network, and he's doing the same exact thing, but we are overlooking it. So it is available. That's just one
Mm.
network that's available. There's a lot of networks that's available, but nobody's really embracing it because they want the easy YouTube way instead
No,
of going
when
to
you
a
use
game.
terms like nobody. Hey, Kev, see how you guys doing? How you doing, man? I don't know if you know these gentlemen up here, Kev. But Sean, listen, I'm not going to argue with what
Hello,
you're
gentlemen.
saying because how you doing? But because I'm not saying you have a modicum of being correct. But even Dame Dash, I didn't even know he had that platform.
Me neither.
So we're
But the
talking
point
about
is, that's
wait a minute. We're talking about the reach of Google. You know,
again.
we can't
But if
compare
you
his little platform to that.
that see, and this is the problem why we don't have it because you're sitting there making a comparison
No,
like it's
no,
impossible.
but you brought it
No,
up,
no, wait,
brother.
wait,
You
wait.
made the comparison.
The reason why I'm saying that is the point is the reason why don't we know it? He's a lot. He's been speaking about it. He's been on these platforms actually speaking about
Well,
it,
but
and we
then
just
that's
aren't
proving
paying
the point that
attention.
we do think about it. Then that's why he has his platform because he's trying to do it. So the point I'm trying to say
Right.
is you're not wrong, but you can't say that nobody's thinking about it because you just gave us an example of somebody doing it. You know what I'm saying? So, but before you
Well,
go
what I'm
any
saying
further,
is that's
before you go
one
any further,
example. That's
go ahead, say what you're gonna say. Say what you're gonna say. Go ahead, Sean. Say what you're
no.
gonna
All I'm
say.
saying is that's one example. No, what
But
I'm
it
saying is
is
that's
an
one
example.
example.
But it is
And,
an example.
and okay, you're right. But what I'm saying is, ignorance of the law doesn't. You're not adept to not being subjected to what it is. Now, what I'm saying
Well,
is because we
see,
don't
that's the
know
point
about
of
it,
my
that's
thing.
on us.
Obsidian knew what the law is, man. He had to. Before you go any further, though, Kev, see, you said something. You got something on this? Hey,
Yeah, so
welcome to the channel, man. I didn't even know you was even peeping in, man.
Okay.
yeah, I've been watching you, man. I don't really do a lot of comments, but I listened to some of your commentary. I was gonna leave a comment on the thing you did about reparations. I got to finish listening to it though. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know, I do a little simulcast on the Black Man Unfiltered Network. You know, that's where I don't necessarily go live here. On Mondays at 6, I'm over there. I just dropped a little live primo to what I'm gonna talk about: men and discernment and consequences. Man, you might be interested in that.
Yeah,
But
no
anyway, go
problem.
ahead. Say what you're gonna say.
You got a good channel. You're doing some good things, but I wanted to finish listening to that commentary you had on reparations so I can make.
Yeah, go ahead.
But at any rate, yeah. So look, as it relates to this Obsidian's channel, I can't find his backup channent right now, right? Because I looked for it just before it popped up, but he had his backup channel up for a little bit. He went through a detailed explanation as to what happened to his main channel, and essentially he said it's quote unquote hidden, whatever that means. I don't know. So I guess you can do things in the YouTube to where you have your channel. It's not necessarily taken or demonetized, but you can hide it for a little bit and just kind of take it off the air yourself. He said in his detailed explanation that it wasn't anything that YouTube did or anybody else did or tried to come at him. It's something it's a decision that he made for the time being. And when he comes back, he'll explain why and what went on, or if he comes back at all. All of that being said,
where did you get what you got? Where did you get that little explanation from?
I just read it. I read it today because I was wondering where he went, because normally he'll take a few days off and then he'll pop up and then do a two or three live streams or commentary, or he has his pre-recorded videos that pops up, and I was like, so where is he and what's going on? And when I typed in his channel, it's actually Mamiya Obsidian Ali Reloaded, but I can't find it right now. So I guess he's doing some things with it. He put it up just to kind of give an explanation for people who are looking for him, and then he took it down, I suppose. Look, I don't really know what's going on with it, but he, you know how he is. He kind of left a long, detailed explanation. And then there's some other things going on with. Do you mind if I say her name? The K&M? Okay, Nicole Foster. That's basically, you know, essentially that's his, I suppose, the arch nemesis, I suppose.
Yes,
He's got this ongoing feud with K&F, and I don't really see what her issue is, other than the fact that he, you know, takes her commentary, and so other people do it too. Takes her commentary and does an analysis on it. Which, if you put it out there, then people are going to analyze it.
Right, and, which is fine with YouTube.
Yeah, fair use, all of that stuff. You know, all he's doing is giving his opinion and commentary on what, you know. The only thing I can think of is that she doesn't. He did this one incident or episode where she was talking about the quote unquote passport bros, and how the United States needs to put in laws to safeguard these women. When I was like, what? I like the laws already exist. We don't need any more laws.
That's right.
And it's funny when we're talking about black men. We need more laws to punish black men, right? Not everybody else, but black men. Remember, white men have been doing this for decades, and remember, military men have been doing this for decades. Right. You know, I mean, there was I don't know. I know you remember the whole what do you call it? What do they call those brides that you ordered out of the mail order brides, right? You remember that, right, Mr. Payne? You remember all that?
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So where was all this concern for all these foreign women coming into the United States? And so it's just very interesting to me that everybody's only concerned when black men are doing something. When black men as a collective, and understand, it's not even the majority of black men. That's the funny thing. It's a small percent of black men. They found a solution to something on their own, and then on top of that, now everybody's complaining about it as if it's a problem. And understand. And remember, Obsidian was critical of women who did literally the same thing.
Oh yes, I saw that.
The passport HOESs, right?
Yeah,
passport 304s. Men are not worried, concerned about what women are doing and where you go and who you have sex with. That is not our problem. You're not our woman. You're not our wife. You're not our girlfriend. So what do we care? Now, if you're our daughter, we might be more inclined to go, hey, if you're doing this, you need to be very safe. Because remember, it's actually more dangerous for women to be running around here doing all this stuff versus what men are doing. Because women are attacked more than the men.
For women to go traveling by themselves, period. For whatever reason.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we're not even talking about them being sexually violated. We're just them being attacked, robbed, and everything else.
That's right.
You got all these women doing the solo travel and all this other stuff. So it's basically black men, or a few black men decided to do something, and she had something to say about it. So obviously he gave a counter. And then, you know, and while she's sitting here, you know, being very hypocritical as it relates to black men, she has nothing to say about what women are doing. That was his whole point.
Forget about her for a second. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's forget about her. We said enough about her.
So
what I'm saying
he explained all this in there with his detailed explanation. That's all I'm saying. So
but that explanation you're talking about right now, where did you find it? You said you couldn't find his backup channel.
So you found his backup channel. Obsidian.
So you're saying you found his backup channel?
Yeah.
Okay.
He had his backup channel up for a while. I looked for it just before I came up, and I can't see it right now. But it was just the day.
So now that's hidden too. Okay, so
yeah.
All right. Hey, listen, man. I tell you what. I hear that explanation, and we can only take his word for it. But let me just say this: we can only take his word for it, but it definitely got to be more than that. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The genius behind, see, I don't look at what can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. You can't hear me? I hear you.
Oh, okay. I don't look at Tyler Perry. Yeah, I can hear you. I don't look at Tyler Perry as anything negative, even though I don't always agree with his material. I look at the genius or the attributes about what he did. And he utilized all of the other networks to empower himself, which Game is kind of doing as well. And I'm not saying boycott these platforms to your point and disregard the reach that we're able to get. I'm saying when we get that reach and we start building our own influence, so to speak, as this gentleman did that we're speaking of, that's when we start coming together and creating and or tuning in or fostering some of our material to other networks that can give us a bit more control and power, so that when we are shut off, we can easily start directing people to the channel. More importantly, while we're on the YouTubes, etc., we can start building that direction towards those channels.
Sean, I agree with you 100%. I'll give you an example of a man
Mhm.
who's doing that. I'll give you an example of a man who's doing exactly what you just said. Anton Daniels. He's doing exactly what you just said.
Okay.
He's trying to build his own media platform,
Mhm.
starting here at YouTube, building the infrastructure first here using Google and YouTube. I don't know, Kevin C, if you're familiar with Anton. I just think he's
Yes.
doing
Yeah.
exactly what you just said. 100%. So you're right. I mean, you're
Mhm.
not wrong. You're
And
right. So that's why I'm
and,
not arguing with you. You're right. But it takes time, takes money, takes effort, and it takes skill and quality and everything else that goes along with building that kind. See, Tyler Perry might have started from the gutter, but he had a certain amount of talent. Everybody doesn't have that kind of talent. Everybody's not going to make it. You know, some people, all they're going to do is be able to have a YouTube channel
well,
and maybe make a few bucks
yeah,
with it, and they'll never have any more. So we got to also keep that in mind.
Well, that's one reason that YouTube should be your primary form of income, right?
Oh, no. Yeah, I agree with that. Oh, I agree with that 100%. Yes.
Yeah,
But I'm just
because
saying,
I've
you got
seen
to
people
start
lose
somewhere.
channels and then they kind of go
yeah,
ballistic
I
because that
agree
was their
with that
primary
as
form
well.
of income,
Yeah,
right?
it should never be only form of income. I agree with that. Not that
Yeah,
vulnerable. No
and
way.
I'm coming from the standpoint. Yeah, I'm coming. Yeah, I'm coming from the standpoint of being in the music industry most of my life and seeing a lot of the people who were who had the influence, who had the talent, and maybe not have had the knowledge, and them always relying on someone else, distribution companies or their distribution or their labels to foster their talent, and then empowering those labels or those people uh, in a place to where now they can dictate what is said or what is done. And that's why I use Dame Jackson as an example, because despite whether you like him or not, that has kind of been the principles that he's been broadcasting, is empowering one another. Our problem, as I speak about it often, is trusting one another.
Yeah.
That's our problem, because if we got a team, because you can't do it by ourselves, but the team, if we have the right team, the resources, the talent and ability is always there. It's just about being able to trust within that team that we're all going to do what we're saying, because we all have the same vision. And often we don't trust because there's a lot of selfish tendencies that start to sway that one way or another.
Yeah. So, but if that's the issue,
Yeah.
then if somebody's screwing up, just ostracize them and don't do business with them.
Yeah. Kick them out
Like
of the
that's how you
team.
get rid of that.
That's right.
That's what everybody else
That's what
does.
we do.
Yeah.
That we do. The problem is we do it too well to where we do it before we even had business done. We do it before everybody does it after they have already established their fortune and their foundation. They don't just do it immediately because they understand the value of the other person, which we sometimes forget. We be like, oh, we don't need them. We don't need Abbott. I'm Costello. When Abbott and Costello together, and we all of age to understand that they made a team,
But
and one
Sean,
without the other wasn't as powerful.
yeah, but Sean, hold on. We cannot speak in absolutes because, and it sounds like you're almost speaking in absolutes, because there are coalitions of black men and women getting together without doing exactly what you just said. Maybe we're not familiar with them, but it's not like none of us can't get together. So when we speak like we can't do that, that's not necessarily true, because there's probably examples of what you just said everywhere. It's just how big the reach is. You know what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
would say that's the issue. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's more the issue, because I can't argue what you just said. All I can say is that we can't discount the fact that some black people can actually get together and can actually work together. I mean, I've seen it work in my life. You've probably seen it work in your life. Maybe it's not a big reach, but it's not like it can't happen. It does happen. It just hasn't been as big and on the scale as we're so familiar with, right? So You know, I
Um,
mean, go ahead.
I will say that Black people do need to come up with their own platforms outside away from the mainstream. You know, I do like, you know, one of the things I listen to on a regular basis is I subscribe to quite a few channels, and I call them the alternative Black media, right?
Yeah.
Because if you just listen to CNN, Fox, MSNBC, and ABC, then you know you're only getting part of the story, right? So
If
and then
that.
there was an article that just came out talking about how mainstream media doesn't cover uh, the issues that are important to Black people. And then of
Of
course you go
course.
down to the comments, and then you always have the smart ass in the comments. Well, you have BET. BET is white owned, by the way.
I know.
It's
For
not a black
years.
hand. It's white owned.
For years.
So that's another thing that a lot of people don't know. All of that being said, you have to actually go to essentially the grassroots media outlets, alternative media, and then look for people who actually covering the issues that you have interest in. Everything from politics to economics to education to real estate. Like you know, it's quite a few people, and you don't have to look at them, you know, everything that they do, but if you know, just kind of get their notifications and see if what they're talking about is of interest to you at that particular time. So it takes a lot more effort. But yeah, if you just count on the mainstream media, you'll never get anything done, and you'll never actually know about what's really going on. I've actually caught where the mainstream media has misreported information that's already been submitted or disseminated by the alternative Black media. They're
Of
going to be a
course.
lot more correct and closer to the truth.
Well,
So
you
yeah.
know, listen. Well, gentlemen, I just you know, I just wanted to make this a little short. I'm glad you guys stopped by. I'm just really, you know, like mixed feelings that whether Obsidian did this on purpose or not. I'm just saying, you know, it's going to go around the internet saying that he got canceled before he comes out with an explanation, and that's going to be far-reaching because of his presence and footprint. And I'm just saying, even if this is a self-inflicted opportunity or wound, I definitely want to know why it was necessary. Why was that?
Well,
Obviously, he doesn't need the money.
Yeah, he said
well,
he's gonna
before
come back and explain what's going on, but you know, for right now, maybe it's a chess move. I mean, again, there's other things going on behind the background that we don't know
Yeah,
about. You know, so some stuff that's probably pending legally. That's you know he needs to clear up and get settled before he makes any more moves and does what it is he normally does. All of that
all
being
right,
said,
go ahead.
you know, I'm not sure why it would be a bad thing to criticize negative behavior because that needs to be done.
Yeah, obviously. But okay, Sean, go ahead and say your last words here, man. So,
my last words were, yeah, it could be a strategy, and these strategies have been taking place for some time. Look, we are now talking about him. I'm now familiar with a person that I wasn't familiar with prior to the move that he made, if it was a strategic move. So I salute him if it was a strategic move because it's working perfectly to gain ears and eyes that might not have been aware of him, which is done always and often in our entertainment industry, whether it be sports entertainment, music, or television and film entertainment. They sometimes call them publicity stunts and they call them other things. They just did it with Jess Hilarious. Jess
yes,
Hilarious had all of everybody talking about her and this, that, and another. And now they announced that she, as of Monday, will be the new host of The Breakfast Club. And
right.
it was strategically done. And people have been doing this for decades, if not centuries, and so some people are familiar with that and are utilizing it to their benefit, especially on these platforms, to gather the attention that's necessary to gain the momentum and influence that will empower them a little bit better.
True enough. True enough. Hey, gentlemen, thanks a lot for stopping by. Hey, listen, I don't go live here often except on my sports show on Wednesdays at 6 o'clock. So everybody's welcome for that one too. But you know, I might start doing this a little bit more often, man. Just go ahead, go live, and just start talking, man. Because I put up a lot of videos, man, and it's just my head just putting stuff out there, you know. And I have a lot of different kind of things I think about. So I said, now that I'm retired, I got some time. I could just go ahead and go on YouTube and use the platform to get what I, you know, instead of create my own and just put stuff out there. But maybe one day I'll get some subscribers and get monetized. But gentlemen, thanks a lot for stopping by,
Thank you
man.
for
I
having
appreciate it.
us.
Thanks, Kevin C, man. I'm glad you stopped by. You too, Sean. We'll talk.
Definitely.
All right, take
Kevin,
care.
pleasure meeting
All
you.
right,
And
gentlemen.
Payne,
All
always a
right, good
pleasure.
night.
Good night.